Made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. That was another mouthful for me. I didn't understand it. It had some religious terms, I thought, in it. God is not a religious term. It spans several different religions, whatever. But I heard those things in there, and all I wanted to know is, how can you help me stop living this way and start living better, right? And it says it right there. Made a decision. We are all one decision away from a better life. We are all one decision away from never using or never drinking again and never having to suffer the consequences of it, right? So made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. That was a lot to wrap my head around, but it's a very simple process that was brought to me. Once I admitted that I was powerless in step one and came to believe that you all knew what you were talking about and I didn't, it made it easier for me to receive that step 3 message. Made a decision to turn our will, and I don't know what all that means, but I came to believe that you do know what it means and that you're going to show me, right? So my sponsor made it very simple. Made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. He said, you don't believe in a higher power, or didn't believe in a higher power. He's like, you've come to believe in nature as your higher power. He said, but here's what I want you to do. Take a piece of paper and draw a line down the middle and write is on this side and is not on this side. Doesn't have to have a name at the top. You don't have to put Jesus, Buddha, or Allah, whatever, at the top. It can be blank. So write down everything your higher power is or would be over here, and everything you think your higher power would not be over here. So on the is side, I'm writing down things like honest, truthful, faithful, dependable, hardworking, a good son, a good father, don't cheat on my girl, right? We know this stuff. It says deep down inside each and every one of us is the fundamental idea of God, right? I knew this stuff ahead of time. But once I started writing it out, okay, all the things my higher power is, then I went over here to is not. Is not is leaving the homeless shelter and asking my mom for more money. On the not side was heroin, crack, meth, alcohol, complaining, making excuses, lying, being untrustworthy, stealing. All that starts to pop up on the is not side. And I bring it back to my sponsor and say, here, I did what you said. He said, so this is everything your higher power is, and this is everything it is not. And there's no name at the top, but you didn't believe in a higher power, and this is in your handwriting. I described what I feel in my heart is my higher power on a piece of paper in my own handwriting, having not believed in it prior to that day, right? Deep down inside is the fundamental idea, right? I know the difference between right and wrong. So when I run into how do you turn your will and your life over to the care of God as you understand Him, when I run into something on the is not side, I'll turn it over to the is side. When I run into the dope man or the idea that I want to use and get dishonest and act like I'm not powerless over drugs and alcohol, when I want to lose my belief in my higher power, I turn it over to here. Honesty, truth, fellowship. I'll call you. I'll call my sponsor. I'm having a bad day and this stuff's not making sense. And they will help me distinguish the is from the is not side. And all this stuff that goes on inside my head, all this programming over years of using drugs and alcohol, and programming myself to act a certain type of way, I take that and I turn it over to the other side. I get honest, truthful, follow through with the fellowship, and put some action behind it. I move over to the is side. There I am, maybe 30 days sober, having no concept of any of this prior to that day, turning my will and my life over to the care of God as I understood it.